World War III. Do I believe it's going to happen? You know, when Russia was mounting its troops along the border, I did not believe they were going to attack. I thought, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to bring sanctions on themselves? Why wouldn't they just want to prosper and make more money? And then they did. And it has become a war of like a doctor using a scalpel. And what a lot of people don't understand is Russia has some very powerful tanks and everything like we have. And they could level a city like nothing. You know, when Russia went in there and still in there, they go down the roads. They don't travel across the farmer fields with the tanks. He's being very, very picky in how he's doing that. And it's probably costing him more lives than it should had he done it a different way. He has said multiple times he's in there searching out Nazis, and that's true. But you have both sides. I had seen a particular video on a guy that's stuck in the factory, and they said, "Can you surrender?" And he said, "No, we cannot surrender because we are considered terrorists. And if we surrender, they will kill us or put us in a jail forever." And this is just so basically, you had chosen to fight, you might be a Nazi, and these are your consequences. Very sad. So, if you think about it, Putin believes if you are a Nazi and you've covered yourself in tattoos and this is your belief and it's like a religion, there's no way of helping you. You have programmed yourself into this, and that's how you live your life. Like KKK, like any other hate group, this is how they live their lives, and nothing else matters but that. Again, very sad. Do I think World War III is going to happen? No, I don't. I did in a video I made before, but I don't anymore. I've done a lot of research on why Putin has gone in the UK and what's going on with that. I've done a lot of research on why NATO's doing what they do. But we have to ask ourselves some questions here that I still don't have answers to, and I don't think any amount of digging is going to give any answer. I only have guesses. United States, Biden, and Canada and other countries are sending billions and billions of dollars into that country. But yet, as I research Ukraine and I research them fighting Russians, they have no ammo. The sniper from Canada called Wally had come back to Canada and he had basically told the truth that most guys are running around with 20 or 60 rounds. How can you be running around with 20 or 60 rounds when we're sending billions of dollars there and we say we're sending missiles and we're sending this and we're sending that? We're even making special deals where they're going to have to pay us back someday. In what? Who knows? All this is turned into, between Russia attacking Ukraine, is raping Ukraine. United States is raping that country. Now, if you need somebody to tell you that, then there's something wrong. There was no way Ukraine was going to win, ever. You're talking 3-1 in an army, compared 3-1 to Russia. By us sending weapons, if we did, then all we've done is postponed it and killed more people in Ukraine. Nothing more. And we keep doing it. And so does NATO and everything else. I'd seen a video on how many nuclear warheads we have over there ourselves, people from the United States, and we have them in NATO countries. Although the people that are in NATO in that country are the ones controlling them. Which means what? We give them an order, they launch? Now imagine that. If you were Russia and you were Putin and you're the president, and you look over the way, and you see these countries in NATO, and they all say they've got nuclear warheads. You know they're there. You can see them from your satellites. What does that say? That says we want to attack Russia. We want a war with Russia. And of course, we'll use excuses and say, well, we got nukes there because they got nukes. And that's just to protect us. And we're going back and forth with this. And I'm like, how about a little less of the nukes and a little more sitting down and talking and seeing what's going on? If we're going to go to war, then get it done. But before World War III kicks off, I could see warnings happening. I could see Russia maybe taking out an aircraft carrier with a nuke, being they have hypersonic missiles. I could see maybe them launching a nuke into, the atmosphere above a ship or something to create an EMP. Kind of like a warning, where they don't kill anybody, but they send one up and say, look, we can do this. Just flexing their muscles, basically. Because both sides know if they start launching off tactical nukes and mini nukes and all this other stuff that's going on, and there is a difference. I'll have a link to a documentary. Go watch it. I posted it in my my community tab, but I'll post it in this video. Go watch it. It is amazing how many nukes we have over there. Now, it's no secret Biden doesn't like Russia. Biden doesn't like Ukraine. He's not over there to help them. We're sending billions of dollars over there, and I want to know when that money hits the shore over there, where's it going? Once it hits Ukraine, it falls off the map. We have nothing. Oh, we sent aid of $32 billion to Ukraine. Really? Is anybody standing there with a book and documenting? We got an accountant over there watching over this money? No. So where's it going? Because I'm thinking, and this is my opinion, I'm thinking, okay, 80 billion goes over, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, let's filter 20 billion through here, and then through here, and then into Biden's account. Or maybe there's over 200 people that got their hands in this, and they just found a way to steal the money from the American people. It hits Ukraine, where Ukraine ain't getting very much of it, and the rest is going into their account someplace. Because how do you send $80 billion, $20 billion, $10 billion, and you got soldiers running around with only 20 or 60 rounds of ammunition in Ukraine? I don't know about you, but anytime there's a war, I would say the number one thing that is super important would be ammunition and food. Wouldn't you? I mean, I think our soldiers run around with nothing under 240 rounds. I could be wrong. Correct me. And that's not enough when they go into a battle. Ammo's very important. I've heard of guys taking half the stuff out of their pack just to carry more ammo. They'd rather sit against a building freezing or take less food and go hungry and have more ammunition, because the last thing you want to do is run out of ammo. That's kind of important. They found that out in Vietnam when they'd storm a hill. It didn't matter how much ammunition they had. Those Viet Cong, they would just run up the hill and sacrifice their lives until you ran out of ammunition. And then it was hand-to-hand combat. It was one bloody situation. When you have a government that's willing just to sacrifice 1 million people like it's nothing, you don't have enough ammunition. Why do you think they use mustard gas and everything? They were like ants. Go poke an anthill. That's what it was like in Vietnam. But you've got Ukraine soldiers that are constantly saying, and I don't know how many videos and articles I've read, where a lot of them only have 8 or 10 rounds. And that's kind of spooky. Now, back in World War II, Russia, if you were in a bar drinking and you got overly drunk or whatever, they'd hit you over the head and take you down to the front lines. You'd get off a boat, and then they'd have one gun per 2 people. They'd give you a few rounds, and the guy in front of you had a few rounds, because they knew that guy was probably going to get killed. As you ran up that hill and went into battle, as soon as he got killed, you grabbed his gun, his rounds, and kept going. Now, if you tried to turn around and go back, well, there's a guy in a machine gun and just cut you down. You had no choice. You had to run right into it or die. With all the billions of dollars we're sending into Ukraine, why don't these soldiers have bullets? I think there's a big fraud going on, and I doubt we'll ever figure it out. I mean, we have Americans that are starving. We have old people that are starving, people on disability that are starving. They are eating spoiled food from food banks. And we're sending billions over there and they don't even have a bullet for their rifle. Doesn't make sense. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist or somebody to tell you that obviously there's a bunch of crooked stuff going on. And everybody yells, oh, I'm for Ukraine. You're a fucking asshole. That's all there is to it. You definitely don't know how to look up or do any research of what's going on. Our government is not helping Ukraine. We are postponing that war as long as we can to kill as many Russians as we can. Indirectly, we are trying to thin out the Russians. And I'm surprised Putin hasn't taken on the U.S. or challenged the UN or anything of that that's going on. Putin has said he will not launch nuclear weapons. He will not be the first. He doesn't want to go down in history for that. It would take an awful lot for him to do that. Now, if he did it, he would probably do it as a warning or something, I would imagine. But I don't see World War III kicking off. A lot of people have said World War III is here. I don't think so. And our government blames Russia for everything. Our gas prices are high because of Russia. 20% rise in our groceries are rise because of Russia. And I'm like, are you telling me Ukraine did everything for us? Ukraine made our cars. Ukraine made our foods. Ukraine made everything. And because of this war, all of a sudden everything went up? That would be pretty stupid if we were that dumb, wouldn't you think? Now, I can see some things being on the rise. Grain's going to be on the rise because a lot of that is grown in Ukraine. We do get some things from Russia. We did get a little bit of oil, stones. There are some things we did get from Russia directly. But because we wanted to involve ourselves in this and because we wanted to cut Russia's population down, that's why we got involved. Now, anytime the U.S. involves itself in any war, no matter what it is, go back in history, it's always because we're in there to collect the riches. We're there to get the oil. We're there to get whatever, the nickel, the titanium, take your pick. The United States would love to take over Russia. So would a lot of other countries. They'd love to chop it up and put it in pieces. So there's a lot more to actually take advantage of. Russia makes a lot of titanium. I think Russia is one of the only ones that made titanium submarines. And I believe the United States tried, but we couldn't achieve it. I could be wrong. But we're not there to help Ukraine people. We didn't take very many Ukraine immigrants in. I mean, what did we take in? I can't even remember now. 1,000 of them? We didn't take very many in at all, and they had a bitch of a time getting in. So, none of this makes a whole lot of sense to me. Everybody feels like you have to take a side. Don't take a side. You can say, Ukraine is wrong and Russia's wrong. You can even say United States is wrong. I don't believe we should have nuclear warheads sitting at NATO over there on that side trying to provoke a war. We should have diplomats. We should have trained people in universities on how to talk and actually to resolve this problem. We don't want to start launching nukes. It's stupid. Now, Donald Trump apparently has gone ahead and upgraded our entire nuclear setup, which is costing us at that time was a couple $1 trillion, which I'm sure has gone up way up in price, and nobody's even questioned that. And I hate to say it, but Donald Trump was right for doing it. When we had bombs that you just drive a plane over and drop, those weren't very good systems. Especially when Russia's moved over to hypersonic missiles. All our systems have to be upgraded, and it's expensive every time you have to do it. But I don't believe we're going to go into World War III. I do believe we're going to get real hungry. And I do believe preppers that are into mini farming are going to basically be cashed out. They're not going to be able to buy the feed. They're not going to be able to keep their animals fed. They're going to have to start pulling back. The ones that have 1 or 2 cows are going to have to get rid of those cows. I remember way back when I was young, pigs were a big thing because they were cheap. You could feed those things anything. And a lot of people had pigs to feed their families. But chicken feed's going up, rabbit feed's going up. I mean, everybody's being priced out on what it's costing to run these animals. Gardens will be big. But fertilizer is going to be expensive. Unless you can find a local farmer that's got some horse shit, some cow shit, or something that you can work into your garden and get a deal. Who knows? Maybe you'll have to go there and say, hey, I'll clean out your barn for free if you give me 2 or 3 loads of horse shit or cow shit. You might have to start working out some deal. There might be some bartering going on. Maybe that's the next step. But prices are going to increase. I think Gas Buddy said the highest gas is going to get is $5 to $6 a gallon. That's how high it can get. Probably more in California. But like I said, I don't see Americans changing anything. The restaurants are full. I see people traveling down the road with trailers. I see everything moving with no problem. And people say, well, I guess I got to pay it. No, you don't. You don't have to go on holidays. You could stay home. You could do something in the backyard. So maybe what's happening with this, Americans are spending more on credit cards and not paying credit cards back. So in a year from now, we're going to see a lot of people losing their houses and foreclosing because of credit card debt. A lot of things because they don't want to let go of that lifestyle and change how they spend money. But do I see World War III? I would say no. Do I see a lot of people suffering? Oh, hell yeah. Do I see people in denial? Yes. As long as those credit cards keep going, I see them in denial. I hope you're not. I hope you're paying attention. You're slowing yourself down, watching your money. And catch you guys on the next one.